Welcome, folks, to this special edition of Inksperience. I'm Robert Inks. It's a little story time. We like to tell stories when we're all together. And this has just happened to be one of those times. I just got to get it off my chest. There's certain things in life that you've heard of. And there's certain things in life that you've read. But to actually witness something miraculous, that doesn't come around very often. And here recently, I witnessed something very miraculous. I was with my good friend Barry Lee, one of my oldest, closest friends in the world. And let me give you some background with Barry Lee. I've known Barry for a long time. We've been very, very good friends. We get along great. And he's actually the person that got me into bow hunting at a time where I've given up on hunting. You know, I was shooting with a gun. It was so easy. It became monotonous. I gave up on hunting. I didn't hunt for 2 years. And then Barry introduced me to bow hunting, which is probably one of the best things that's ever happened to me, because it gave me life again for the outdoors, and where I've taken it from that point to here, I wouldn't have never been able to do it without Barry. So, and Barry works a lot. He's always got something going on, work, and he needed some time away. So I suggested that we go out to the ranch, do a little turkey calling, see what we can come up with. But one thing about Barry is he's talented. He's like that guy on the police academy. He can listen to something and mimic it perfectly. And some of you that don't know what police academy is, you're probably under 35, don't have a clue, is he can mimic any noise that you make. And his specialty is turkeys. I have seen him talk turkey. He can talk turkey so good that, well, there's this guy from Mississippi. I don't know his name. He has his own line of turkey calls and whatnot. And he's like a 20-time world champion turkey caller. Barry could probably have a conversation with this guy in Turkey, and they'll understand everything they say. He's that good. So anyway, with that said, we went out to the ranch. And we got out there about lunchtime on a Saturday, and we just kind of goofed off. And it was a warm day. It was hot. But we were waiting for that last hour of daylight. Right before the turkeys want to get into their roost, we decided there's a field right across the county road from the cabin. We jumped out in that field. It's about 25, 30 acres, I don't know, somewhere along that line. And right down the middle of that field is a little creek. And that creek is all brushy all the way down. And the rest of the field is wide open. So what we did is we went over there, got in that little creek, and he just starts squawking. And he's talking turkey. I'm not going to make an ass of myself and try to actually make the noise, because I can't do it. And he doesn't use a call. He just uses his mouth. And he's out there squawking and squawking and squawking. And we hear a gobble. We know what direction there are. So, and all of a sudden we hear another gobble. I was like, oh my God, there's two of them. I was like, oh wow. So he sits down in that creek. He's down on his knees. And I set up with the camera and everything else about 40 yards away in the brush, so I'm filming from behind where I can see everything in front. And he's got the wireless mic on, and so I sit back in the brush, and I've got the earphones into the wireless mic and the camera. So I'm listening to everything he says. And as he's squawking, it was loud. I'm gonna tell you right now, I was a mistake putting those earphones in with him squawking. But I could take him out like this, I could still hear him. You know, I was like, good grief, man, this is loud. So I toughed it out, I put him back in, and he's squawking. And well, even through his microphone, I can hear the gobbles of the turkeys. He's got one coming in about 10 o'clock from him. He's got another one coming in about 2 o'clock. And they're just moseying along. He's just doing his little squawk. Well, right out of nowhere, there was one coming straight ahead. And I was like, my God, he's got 3 of these bad boys. I mean, I'm in awe. He's got 3 of them, and he's talking some turkey with them. I don't know what he's telling them, but he sure as heck had them coming in. So as he's got them coming in, he's got them within, all of them between, 60, 75 yards. They're moseying around, they're prancing around with their chest all out, fanned out. Kind of look like my friend Candy Oliveris at Last Call on a Saturday night. I mean, he got that little dance going on, and they're rocking and rolling. And I'm excited. I'm tickled to death going, which one's going to come in? And Barry's very smart about getting hidden, concealed. He's down in this creek. He's on his knees, about as brush high. And he's right there about 60 yards away. He goes ahead and he pulls back his bow. And that way, if any whichever comes in within range, he can swing to either side and he can nail it. So I was like, okay, here we go. And they're just not coming in. They're just kind of out there prancing around. And it's been 2, 3, now we're counting 4 minutes. And to hold back your bow that long, but Barry Lee is built kind of like a professional wrestler. I mean, he's got pythons on him. He's stacked. He's a brick house. You know what I mean? He is tough. So he can handle it. He wasn't even flinching. I'm zoomed in on him with the camera. He's not shaking one bit. And I was like, wow, man, this guy he's stout. He's good. And he's still trying to get him to come in. And I've got the camera zoomed in all the way on him. And I'm looking through the viewfinder. I'm not even looking with my eyes. So I'm looking out and I'm seeing this, and I've got it right on him because I want to see if he's shaking. So as I'm zooming back, something caught me out of my peripheral vision, and this big-ass turkey come rolling in behind him, in between me and him, and was just running in. Kind of looked like a scorpion with his tail up. I mean, he come in, he was fanned out, he was running right at Barry, and I was like, oh my God, he stops right there at Barry's feet. I mean, he's right there. And then all of a sudden, he's just shaking. And I was like, is it wind or what is why is this thing shaking? And you just see all the feathers just shake. And there's no way I could warn him. He's actually still talking, so he couldn't even hear what was going on behind him with the squawking that he's trying to get these 3 turkeys in. And out of nowhere, that turkey jumped straight up in the air, the wings straight out, and landed right on Barry's shoulders. And I mean, just started got him. And I've shot turkeys in the past to where when they go down, 4 or 5 turkeys go over and just stomp it out. I don't know what that process is. I've never really investigated it, but it happens. When you take a turkey out, other turkeys come and knock it out. Well, that is about what that was doing. And I was either that or if it was mountain berry. I'm not sure what was going on, but it was given. But when it hit Barry, Barry shot his arrow, and it went off about 15, 20 yards. And probably, obviously scared the hell out of him. But he dropped his bow, grabbed, the turkey, and threw it down. Well, the turkey jumped right back up in a fight. And he's on his knees, and that turkey is same size as Barry, same height. And that thing has got his wings out and just raising all kinds of hell, and Barry's punching and fighting and scrapping, and it was unbelievable. I'm sitting there with the camera like, holy crap, is this really what I'm seeing? And he's having a fist fight with a turkey. Finally, I guess the turkey realized that Barry's not a female or whatever, and realizes that he made a mistake. So the turkey turns right around and runs off. I mean, it gets back over to his bow. He picks it up. He puts his arrow in his bow. Now, at this moment, I'm still on earphones. He's not breathing hard. I heard the squawking and the fighting and everything else. He's not breathing hard. That caught my attention. I would have been hyperventilating at this point if I was him. But anyway, he puts his arrow in his bow. He looks up, he pulls his bow back, and then he lets it back down. And he wipes sweat from his head, and I hear him go. And then he pulls his bow back again, holds it, and that turkey has not let up yet. That turkey is dead, gone, running. He raises the bow up and just lets that arrow fly. And we're at sunset, maybe a little past sunset. And he's got a lighted knock on his arrow. And it looked like a shooting star going across that sky. And it was... So I'm watching that arrow go up. And I was like, what in the hell is he doing? And that turkey is dead running on. And there's a fence there, outlines that field. And as soon as it gets to that fence, it wants to fly over, and that's when that arrow hit that turkey. And I was thinking, you've got to be kidding me. That is at least 130 yards from where he's standing. There is no way he hit that turkey. So I was trying to get up. So, obviously I'm a little sore and everything else, and I go running over to Barry. And I'm like, holy crap, man, are you okay? And he's just like, yeah. He goes, did you get that on video? I said, yeah, man, hell yeah. Man, I'm excited. He's not. He's just like, well, it happens. I said, I said, did you really hit that turkey? And he said, I think so, yeah. And I said, well, that's at least 125 yards. He goes, it's 137, pitch and wedge. And I was like, oh, well, he's a good golfer, so obviously he can judge distance pretty good. And pitch and wedge at 137, he's pretty good. So I was like, wow, man, I said, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm just sitting there talking to him, and he's just looking at me like, yeah, it was pretty interesting. He goes, I've never really had a turkey attack me before, but, first time for everything. I'm freaked the hell out. I'm like, holy shit. So we walk all the way over there. We pick up the turkey. I asked him on the way over, I said, where were you aiming? Where did you think you hit that turkey? He says, I was going for the back of the neck. I said, but you had the arrow pointed up like that. How could you even aim? He says, no, I was just judging distance and speed of that turkey. It's no big deal. I was like, wow. So we get over there, and I'll be damned if that turkey wouldn't hit right in the back of the neck, up against the fence. Gone, dead. I was like, what the? Wow, that is the most impressive thing. He pulls the arrow out, puts it back in his quiver, picks up the turkey. We're walking distance back to the cabin. We're 150 yards, so we walk back to the cabin. He goes, I'm kind of anxious to see how that turned out. I was like, hell, I'm damn anxious. I can't wait to see how this goes. So we get in there, and he's starting to get the turkey all cleaned up and this, that, and the other. I go inside, man. I'm looking for the cords for the camera. I got to charge it up. I was like, man, this thing's almost dead. So we charge it. You get the charge in it, and I plug the cables in it, put the TV, turn it on. I'm freaked out. Play. I look at it. I'm like, oh, shit. And I'm trying to mess with the settings, and I push play. Nothing. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man, this whole thing. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, my heart just sunk into my stomach. Nothing came out. And I went outside and told Barry, I said, you're not gonna believe this. And I said, it didn't record. He says, oh, quit BSing me or whatever. And I was like, no, I'm serious, it didn't record. And he's like, oh well, we'll just have to get it again next time. And I said, yeah, but that was the most awesome thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, you can't. He says, next time it might be even better. I was like, I guess. But kind of listening to him and talking to him and being around him at that moment reminded me of something I learned a long time ago when I was in the Air Force. And a guy I highly, highly respect, his name is Harry Veal. Harry Veal told me one time, he says, when you're really good at something, you make it look easy. And success comes, you're not surprised. It's when you're really good and you're not successful, it leaves a pit in your stomach. Makes you want to go back out there and do it again. And I got that. I've lived my life by that. If you're really good, don't be surprised by success. And I'm then watching Barry, he's very good at calling turkeys. He talks the language. He's a very good bow shot. That was kind of stretching it, but he put together probably one of the most awesome things I've ever seen in my life. And to him, it was no big deal. To me, it was everything. I was like blown away. But when you're good, you don't have to worry about it. You'll do it again. And he's right. Next time, you never know what might happen. And that's the beautiful thing about hunting. It's the beautiful thing about being with friends. Because when you're with good friends, you share these moments. And when you share these moments, you get to tell these moments. And you get to enjoy, you get to relive. And that's just about what this is all about, is telling stories. Glad you tuned in. I'm Robert Inks. We'll see you next time on the Story Hour.